And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Clan SWS from the land of Poland. It is Krystianer. And if you're in the chats, you know what time it is. It is time to get your gamba going because predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series, who you think will make it to the finals here. Again, I do give the slight edge to Krystianer, but we have seen Nicoract defeat him before. Has brought him down in the past. Again, we'll see if he can do it again. We'll see. Just catching up. Just catching up. Are you fluent in Spanish? I'm fluent in, like, there's a phrase for it. It's escaping me at the moment. It's like, conversational, like casual Spanish, right? I never learned it, like, academically. Like, I never, like, took, like, Spanish classes or anything like that. So, basically, growing up, I would just learn it by, like, speaking, by, like, you know, through osmosis from my family and friends, right? Because of that, I never learned to properly write in Spanish. Like, I can read, don't get me wrong, I can read in Spanish, but, like, proper, like, grammar when it comes to writing in Spanish, that I never had to write in Spanish, right? Like, because I grew up in Australia. And there are certain, like, specific words, right? It's, like, certain, like, hyper-specific, like, specialized words that I wouldn't know either. Just because they don't come up, like, in regular conversation. Yeah. But now, though, we are settling in. It is going to be an economic opener out of Nicoract, going for a Rax Expand. Like, I think, for example, I've tried casting in Spanish before. Like, I've got a lot of... Obviously, we're quite close with the Spanish-speaking community. With people like Cranky, with Otis, with Ducklings, with Demon Swap. With all the Spanish casters. And I remember trying to cast in Spanish, but it's so awkward because there's so many words that I don't know in Spanish, right? Like so many like StarCraft specific words. So it's difficult. It's difficult for me at least. But a shout out to Romsley, my favorite Spanish caster. Romsley. Well, now though we are settling in. And from this economic open, Nicoract is following up with a 2-1-1 setup. Oh my god, you rarely get to see this. 2-1-1s are a rare sight in this matchup. Basically, he's going for a stim timing. Now, this will mean that we are, of course, lacking tanks. We're going to be going for a big stim timing here with 16 Marines, with 2 medevacs as well. Often seen against Zerg players, rarely against Terran and Protoss. And we'll see if Krystianer can get a read on what's going on. For now, he is embracing Blink Stalkers. It's going to be Twilight Council into Blink. It's going to be 2-gate Blink into a third base. So very economic build from Krystianer. We've been spoiled a little bit from the past couple of games with Lunacy, where Lunacy has been more aggressive. We've seen a lot more aggression in general, whether it's Lunacy versus Hallmono or Lunacy versus Estrella. But here, straight up macro build from Krystianer. Just 2-gate Blink into a third base, focusing on his economy. But this does mean that Krystianer is going to be vulnerable to the push from Nicoract, especially because Krystianer hasn't really scouted. He did not get into the main, not yet. The Observer's still on the way, so he doesn't know what's coming his way. He doesn't know just how much of an oddity this build is. Again, specifically the 2-1-1. Now, this is quite dedicated for Nicoract. If this doesn't get damage done, I mean, the downside here is delayed tank production, right? Delayed tanks, so defensively against Blink Stalkers, Nicoract is going to be vulnerable. Drops move out, and the Adept does scout, does confirm. So Krystianer is aware. As Nicoract moves out. Nicoract does move out across the map, going to hit that third. Meanwhile, shield battery still on the way. And Stim is now done. And Nicoract, he can actually overwhelm this army. It's going to come down to the control of Krystianer and how good the blinks are. He stims in. Does stim in. Going for the stalkers so far. Nice control of Krystianer. Ooh, he does bleed out one stalker. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 stalkers going down. And this may just be too much. He gets a 4, he gets 5. 5 stalker kills. 6, 7. There's 3 left. 2 left. And it looks like Nicoract, he has done enough. He breaks through the main army. Gets into the mineral line. Gets 3 probe kills. Oh, and he trades so well here, trading Marines for stalkers. Again, the shield battery barely was not ready in time. Gets another stalker kill. And Nicoract gets out. Now, this could have ended the game. Oh my god, he gets another stalker. Oh my god. So many stalker kills. And again, this could have ended the game. If Krystianer had any worse control, if he had lost additional stalkers faster, then 100% the mineral line would die and the game would end. The game would have just ended then and there. So Krystianer, he survives, but that was how many? That was 11 stalkers going down for 13 Marines. Again, the trades, especially when it comes to gas here, was much more efficient for the Terran player, trading out mainly minerals and saving at least 1 medevac. Does manage to get away. Behind this, third CC is now in production, and Nicoract, he's building up towards the mid game, I should say. Building up towards the mid game. And what can Krystianer do? After losing so many stalkers, he has no counterattack potential. He has no control of the map whatsoever. That was 11 stalker kills, and stalkers, I mean, it goes by unnoticed at times, but they're quite expensive. They're very expensive, especially this early on. Like that stalker count you build up over time, and now it's rendered to almost nothing. And now Krystianer, he's, again, stuck at home. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's moving out. He has momentum. Moving out with his second push, his second wave. There is a shield battery this time. It is ready. There is an overcharge. Nicoract, he stems in. Does stim forward. Taking down mainly the Zealots, but the tank is exposed, and the tank does go down. Nice pick up by Krystianer. Gets the tank. Here we go. We're in Australia, New South Wales. New South Wales. In the Sydney area. Back when ESL Australia used to host offline events, like from their studio in Sydney, in Auburn, I'd go there to cast. I'd go to the studio, cast a little bit with Pig, with Maynard, with Zeph. Good times, good times. It's some of the best casting experiences I've had was casting ANZ champs. Was good. Good times. Okay, but from here, Nicoract, he backs off again, establishing his third. Likewise, Krystianer getting to his fourth base. Double robo on the way, getting into triple disruptor production. That's a lot of disruptors. Oh my god. 3 robos on the way. But once again, like, the advantage that Nicoract has here is because of all these trades, because he's crippled the stalker count and just chipped away at the main army. Krystianer, he has no map presence. He is stuck at home, and this means that Nicoract, he is freely expanding, taking more bases. He doesn't have to worry about counterattacks or run-bys. His economy has been untouched this entire game. That is also why Nicoract has a supply lead. Again, because of all that control, because of his unhindered economy, he's building up and will be the first to max out. Now, of course, when it comes to this kind of army game state here, it is quite back and forth. Krystianer, by going triple disruptor, has a lot of potential here to bounce back, and despite having a supply deficit, can take some better fights and can still out-trade Nicoract. So it's still going to be quite an intense back and forth here between Nicoract and Krystianer. As Nicoract, he's embracing his ghost production, going into his own Vikings. 4th CC's on the way. As again, we do have this kind of lull period where our players can take a moment to breathe and calm down. As that is a lot of Marauders. Aye, aye, aye. That's a death blow of an army if I've ever seen one. Jesus. And again, this army is designed to dive, to stim in, and to focus down units like Colossus and Disruptors. Like Nicoract, he's hunting for the army. Does spot it. Stims in. Nevers go off. Ooh, and a massive connection. Yeah, Nicoract, he's unable to split in time. Takes a massive Nova to the face. Rotates around. And we're looking for another Nova. And you can see just how hard this can shut this down. And Nicoract, he has to pull away. Has to pull back. We're up to how many disruptors? 7. And pushing into disruptors, into purification Novas, is a very difficult thing to do. As we can see, Krystianer splitting off his zealots, going for a counter attack, going for a run by. Nice EMPs, but he cannot engage, not with this many disruptors. Meanwhile, zealots, they hit the 3rd, they're getting to the mineral line. There are reinforcements back at home. Meanwhile, Krystianer, and he's trying to engage. The army is stuck outside, stuck out of the map. Nova's going up, Ghosts are going down, Marauders as well. Nice pickups here on the Colossus, but the Vikings have to land. When the final Ghost goes down. Yeah, massive trade, massive pickups. Krystianer, he shuts down the army. And Nicoract, he lost that lead. He lost so many Marauders, so many Ghosts. That's how many? That was 18 Marauders going down. And Krystianer, he's running away with this. He's just running away with this game. He has so many disruptors left over as well. Liberation has arrived, but there's only 2 liberators. They're able to hold the line. We have some freedom. 1 liberator goes down. Disruptors, they zone away. Nice flanking Marauders, though. They're getting on top of the disruptors. Decent splits. But it looks like it might just be too much anyway. Yeah, the CC goes down. That's all that Krystianer needed. He gets the expansion, and GG gets called. It's just too much, and Krystianer will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Nicoract, he had a lot of potential with his army. We mentioned he had so many Marauders. He had such a beefy army as well. But as we mentioned, pushing into disruptors can be so difficult when you have a ground-based army like that. I should also emphasize a big reason as to why Krystianer was able to snowball out of control there was the fact that he was making 3 disruptors at a time. He did take a chance, he did take a risk by going into the additional robo production into mass disruptor. There was a window, there was a period in time. Where Krystianer, he was quite vulnerable before he got into that disruptor production. But alas, he did get away with it. If you remember, that was in that kind of like lull period that we spoke about, where both armies kind of backed off from each other, and Krystianer, he just got away with that production, got away with that tech, and with that did snowball out of control from there. GG. GG, well played. Again, when it comes to disruptors, sometimes all it takes is one. You know, they are the great equalizer for a reason, as they are very unforgiving. Very unforgiving. Now we're getting into game number 2. We go. So in chat, Nicoract doesn't seem to play well versus Novas. I don't think he was really just expecting that many disruptors that he was pushing into, right? I think that just caught him a little bit off guard. It wasn't quite prepared to face off against that, and here we go. We're now getting into our next game, into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Side Delta, we have the Red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Clan SWS. It is Krystianer. Leading the series and 1 game away from making it to those grand finals. We'll see if Krystianer can make it there. We'll see if Nicoract can force the ace match again. I'm hoping for a game 3. But we'll see what Nicoract goes for. Winding it back, if you remember, last game, Nicoract went for a very unique build. He went for a 2-1-1 stim timing with 16 Marines, double medevac drop. Did do quite well. If you remember, he killed 11 Stalkers and 3 Probes. It was a very nice trade. I'm sure that Nicoract was maybe hoping for a little bit more, but I don't think that was a bad start for the Terran player. But alas, after that, the aggression did slowly subside, and Krystianer was able to stabilize. From there. Went to a tournament in early 2012. Oh, I see. That's a very long time ago. That's like early, oh, not early Wings of Liberty, I guess like end of Wings of Liberty, now that I think about it. Because Heart of the Swarm was 2013. End of Wings. Yeah, I remember. I think you're referring to ACL. I think that would have been the Australian Cyber League back in 2012. I remember, I think it was 2012 or 2013 that they announced it. And I remember I was tempted to go at the time. But back then, none of my IRL friends were actually too interested in StarCraft too much, and I was like, I don't want to go by myself. Like, I don't really know anyone in the Australian scene, so opted not to go in the end. But I do remember that was back in the ACL days. Good times. ACL Gold Coast. I see. I wish I was in Sydney then, pretty close to Auburn. Yeah, there was a lot of events like in Sydney StarCraft related. This is I guess relatively recently, but pre-COVID, so like 2019, 2018, there was IEM Sydney, right? There was StarCraft at IEM. There was WCS Challenger that was back in that was in the ESL studio in Auburn as well. I remember that was in 2016. That was when StarCraft Remastered was announced, and there was a show match between Moonglade and Legionnaire. Oh my god. I had to reach into like the recesses of my brain for that one. Remember Legionnaire? Crazy. Remember Moonglade? Yo, I ran into Moonglade a couple of years ago, like 2022, at PAX. I remember because we were casting. I was casting with Pig, PAX Australia, and I noticed Moonglade in like he was like hanging out. I was like, oh my god, like, Papi, where have you been? Yeah, he's like, like he tunes into StarCraft every now and then. Like, obviously he's moved on, like he's got his own IRL career, his own job and stuff. But he just happened to be at PAX. And he dropped by. He was like, oh, there's StarCraft going on. He just dropped by. It was really cool. Moonglade, he's still got the hair. He's still got the mane. Like, it's the beautiful luscious hair. But regardless, we have our game. We have our game ahead of us. It's going to be Krystianer once again, 2-gate blink into a third. So just like the previous game, a very economic build, very macro build here by Krystianer. No major aggression. He's just trying to get into his own third and get into the mid game in a solid position. Meanwhile, Nicoract did adjust his own build, going for a 1-1-1. This time he's not going for like a stim timing, he's not going for a bio-heavy composition, he's going for a 1-1-1 tank Banshee push. Now this is a build that was popularized at the start of the year, I want to say post IM Katowice but pre-EWC, so around like April, May, like that kind of era of StarCraft. This build was wreaking havoc in TVP, and a lot of Protoss players were caught off guard. Nowadays, I'm sure Krystianer, he is familiar, more so familiar with this build, and we'll see if he can slow it down. Again, this can hit very hard. Banshees they use to actually support the main army instead of going for a run-by or going for a counterattack, and this can hit like a truck. As Nicoract does push right through the center, Krystianer, he is aware he's getting in position. Shield battery is not yet ready. It's halfway done. Krystianer needs time. Does need a little bit more time. Picking off some Marines, does force a siege. Ooh, Observer goes down. But again, the tanks is sieged up behind, a little bit further back. Shield battery will finish, but it's within range. Shield battery goes down. A nice pickoff. And you can see Krystianer trying to come in from behind. Does blink in, gets one tank. One tank goes down. One tank for one Stalker. Good trade for Krystianer. And there's one tank left. One tank remaining. The Immortal does pop out just in time. There might not be a shield battery, but Krystianer, he can surround. He can surround the army. And Nicoract, he's unable to reinforce. Unable to support. And the tank is not within range of the Nexus. That's what's important. He's not threatening any bases. He's not threatening anything, really. And as time goes on, it's getting better and better for Krystianer. As he can reinforce, he can warp in. He's just saturating his third. No care in the world. Second Immortal has arrived. The tank got sieges! And the medevac goes down. The medevac, the tank, the Banshee will not escape either. Very nice clean up here by Krystianer, and Nicoract, he loses everything. And what did he achieve? What did he get? He got one Stalker, one Adept, one Shield Battery. Not good enough. Not good enough here. And again, Krystianer was doing such a great job here when it came to his army control, coming in from behind, forcing the siege, sniping some stray tanks. And Nicoract now in a rough position. He has lost his map control. He's stuck back at home. The entire point of his build, of course, was to deny the third, was to knock it down. Didn't even touch it. Now he has to try to expand and try to stabilize. Krystianer's been all over this. Now he's taking up into a bay. Base on the way for Colossus. Charge, looking to finish up as well. We go. And basically, there's nothing pressuring Krystianer from pushing in. All he has to do is contain. Just contain the Terran on 2 bases, and Krystianer from here can eventually take a 4th base, build up his Colossus, take his gases, work on upgrades. There's nothing really pressuring Krystianer. The pressure is on Nicoract. As he does move out. Is attempting to break out and gain map control. To expand and get a 3rd. Nice blinks out of Krystianer. Loses 1 Stalker. Nicoract rotating around. He does have a comparable army size. But there's a Colossus, there's still those Immortals. You can see Krystianer setting up the flank. He does set up. Krystianer, get the hell out of there. Escaping with the Stalkers. Behind this, a 3rd base now being floated over, now being in the location. And again, this is one of the big features of this map of Side Delta, is just how wide open some of these locations are. How vulnerable you are to a surround. He retreats. Ooh, another tank goes down. Krystianer with the snipes. Picks up the tank. Forces back the army. And this 3rd base is still looking quite exposed here. The Observer is spotted. There's Krystianer, he is aware of the 3rd. And again, there's only 2 Widow Mines, there's no tanks. One of the Widow Mines goes down. Nicoract, he's in trouble. Gonna try to engage ahead of time, picks up a couple of Zealots. Not bad. Widow Mine drop races back home. Krystianer, he does engage. Massive Colossus swipes going off of the Marines. Does pull away, and once again, just like the previous game, double Robo. We have 2 Robos on the way. It's going to be triple Disruptor production. It's almost, yeah, the same setup here as Game 1, here in Game 2. Now, Krystianer, he cannot quite break this position. The Marauder count is a little bit too high. That's a lot of Marauders. And we saw, what's the answer to a Marauder-heavy composition? The balls, papi. The Disruptors, they're coming, once again. So Krystianer, he backs off. He backs off. Sticks around with only Stalkers. Pulls back with his main army. He respects the Marauders. Wants none of that. And is building up his Disruptor count and getting ready for a later game state. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's stabilizing. Somewhat. You know, he gets his 3rd base. His 3rd base is fully operational. Now he can build up a threatening force. He's getting to Viking production. So once again, he's going to have an answer to the Colossus. Will eventually work towards Ghosts and EMPs. But I would say that Nicoract is still 1 step behind. As Dark Templar have hit the field, the Dark Shrine is now done, and the Invisible Man is moving out. Krystianer going to be clashing with the main army. No, he goes up. Doesn't connect. 1 Colossus goes down. But DTs, they do slip into the mineral lines. SCVs are going down. Yeah, 6 SCVs so far. There's a DT in the main. There's a DT at the 3rd in every single mineral line. And Nicoract, he has to commit. He does get some of the Disruptors, but the Nova... Nova doesn't connect. Nice split. Gets 1, he gets 2 Disruptors, he gets 3. Does take it over to the face, but now no more Disruptors, no more Novas left. It's just a Gateway army, but it's not going to be enough for Nicoract as Krystianer, he defends, he holds, he gets 34 SCV kills across the map, and Krystianer will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Nicoract towards the end there, he was basically forced all in. He was forced into an all in. The DTs were wreaking havoc. They were crippling the economy. It was all or nothing for Nicoract. He did get a lot of Disruptors, but he had no reinforcements. You know, it was all or nothing for the Terran, and he was just running out of steam. He was petering out of units. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Krystianer will take the series, will advance on to the grand finals. Congratulations. Again, very solid play here out of Krystianer. I do appreciate the builds. If you remember, coming into the series, I spoke about how Nicoract has been very aggressive against Protoss players and has had a lot of success with that aggression as well. And we saw that in Game 1 and in Game 2. Game 1, we had the 2-1-1, where again, Nicoract did not have a bad start to the game. He did trade very well with the initial double medevac drop. Likewise here in Game 2, we had a 1-1-1 Banshee tank push out of Nicoract on 2 bases, but we saw that Krystianer, he was able to slow it down, he was able to get a surround, he was able to just pick away at the army and, yeah, just pick it apart from there. So really impressive stuff there by Krystianer. There's a reason why Krystianer was or has been the rising star of the year when it comes to the European region, in the sense that he's been rising through the ranks and has been performing and improving quite a lot. So has Nicoract. I will want to emphasize that as well. There are certain players in the online tournament scene that have been improving a lot this year. Players like Krystianer, players like Geralt, players like Nicoract. I want to say Nikic as well. Young Yakov has been getting some very impressive results as of late, and they've all been improving. They've all been rising up, and yeah, threatening these kind of higher tier players. Has been great to see their growth over the year.